everyone, my name's Danielle and welcome to another episode of Board Game Bakes. Thanks for stopping by. This week we're going to feature the Lost Ruins of Arnak and the new Expedition Leader expansion. And the expansion adds 6 new leaders to the adventure, and they have unique abilities and starting cards, and you also get 2 new temples. So I definitely check out the expansion as well. The base one has the rules. It's kind of like a journal, and as you're reading through it, it's just kind of like you're reading someone's journal about how they discover this unknown civilization. So I decided to recreate the rules or the journal as a pumpkin cake with cream cheese frosting, and we're going to use edible paint and fondant to make it look like the real thing. Let's get started. Not gonna lie, I was originally going to make a very different recipe, but they didn't have any at the store, so I embraced my love of pumpkin and made a pumpkin cake. To begin, add 1 tablespoon pumpkin pie spice, 2 teaspoons baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Give it a quick mix. If you don't have pumpkin spice, I googled a recipe and made myself a little jar to have on hand. In your stand mixer, add 1 cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup brown sugar, a 1/2 cup white sugar, 4 large eggs, and 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree, not the pumpkin pie mix. 2 teaspoons vanilla extract. Mix until it's uniform in texture and color. Add in your dry ingredients, a 1/2 batch at a time. And you want to give that a mix until it's just combined. Sometimes I like to finish with my rubber spatula instead of using the mixer so it doesn't get overmixed. Pour the batter into a 13 by 9 inch pan that has been prepared with some parchment paper, spray, and flour. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 40 minutes. It's a large range because mine was done way earlier than the recipe I found. Make sure the top is set and a toothpick comes out clean. Let it cool completely before decorating. To make the cream cheese frosting, cream together 1 stick of softened unsalted butter and 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese until it's smooth with no lumps. Add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Give a quick mix, then slowly add in 4 cups of powdered sugar. Keep it on a lower speed until the sugar is all incorporated, then increase the speed until it's light and fluffy. To prepare your cake, take your cake and trim off the top layer to make it flat. Use a large serrated knife to cut the cake in half horizontally. Use a little bit of icing to stick it onto your cake board, and then you're going to apply a thin coat of icing on the cake before you apply your top layer. There is the perfect amount of icing to cover the cake and a decent amount of frosting, and this let me also smooth out the corners. Let it chill in the fridge while you prepare your decorations. While you're here, make sure you subscribe for new videos every Tuesday. Thanks! An additional detail is the Lost Ruins of Arnak title, which is also printed on the rulebook, or journal. I happen to have yellow fondant left over from a previous bake, so I rolled that out to an 1/8 inch thickness and wrote out the title. Then you can use a sharp knife to cut out your letters. Let them dry and harden a bit, then use a dark brown on the sides of the letters to help them stand out more and pop. You can also use a big paintbrush with a little bit of orange paint to add a color gradient to the letters if you notice they're more orange on the top. Use a paper towel to dab the excess and then create a gradual fade. To start making your picture, you want to roll out some white fondant so that's an 1/8 inch thick, and you want to just cut out a rectangle. I try to make mine almost exactly the same size as a rule book because that's how big the cake turned out. If you have any extra, you can roll it out so this way you have scraps to make vines later. To begin, make your photo from the cover of the game and also from the rulebook. Start by doing the background colors in a light blue and a light golden brown. Use a darker and redder brown to do the sculpted rocks and details on the cliffs. You may want to outline your people before doing the background, this way you don't accidentally color them green or something. Make a nice forest green and you're ready to add your forest, which is a lot of vines as far as I can tell. Use some browns, peach, and white to bring your people to life. If you make a boo-boo and don't like a detail, you can always use a toothpick or something to get the paint layer off, and if you get a little fondant off, that's fine as well, and then you could try again. I prepped 3D-esque vines by cutting strips and then painting them green, this way, because the actual cover has a black and white photo, so I just decided to go with color and try and make it like it's popping and trying to come to life. I think it added a little bit more character. The main guy looked a little scary on my first attempt, but I think he turned out okay in the end. Give the edible paint a little time to dry before adding on each additional layer, otherwise you're just going to smear it all together. As you go along, you could add darker green patches and lighter green patches, and some more shadowing to the forest and vines. Cut off most of the white around the picture so that you can have the most of the picture you worked hard on the actual cake. Let's assemble our book. Take some light brown fondant and mix with some yellow fondant to give it a cool marbled effect. Roll the fondant out to an 1/8 inch thickness and cut 2 strips that are about 9 by 1¾ inches. Put them onto the short ends of the cake and cut off any excess so this way it's flush with the top and the sides. Roll out a darker brown fondant so it's an 1/8 inch thick and about 12 by 12 inches. Drape it over the top and long sides of the cake. Use some of this excess fondant that you rolled out to create the overlapping color on the side of your journal. To give it a journally weird effect, take a paper towel and dab the cake with brown food gel. To get the darker colors, use just straight food coloring gel with nothing in it, and to get some of the lighter brown, mix it with alcohol. Also use a thin paintbrush to add lines to the short side of the cake and make it look more like there's pages in your journal. Let it dry before applying the rest of your decorations. Line up your picture on the cake to determine where you should cut your photo, because as it hardens and dries, it'll be really hard to lift that flap up off your cake. The paint makes the cake sticky enough that you only need a very little bit of water to put the title on your cake. The last detail is the string across, which is harder than it looks. You can see my husband here is putting it on because he was able to conceptualize it without actually having to go around, and I was struggling with that concept, so thanks, honey. Now our journal of our amazing adventures in Arnak is complete, and it's ready for consumption. Thanks for watching another episode of Board Game Bakes. I saw this game at Gen Con 2 years ago, I think, and I really wanted to play it then. And then I got the game, and I still haven't gotten to play it. My husband, I think, has played it 2 times without me, and somehow I have not played this game. So it's really high up there on hopefully the next game that I play list. It looks like so much fun, and I love how the journal turned out. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for watching each week. I really appreciate it. So let me know, what's another Explorer type game I should check out? I tried Karuba Jr., and that was really surprisingly difficult. I think it's even more difficult than actual Karuba. Keep playing games and keep them sweet. Bye!